Anett Kontaveit, shock retirement explained. Former world number 2, Anett Kontaveit will retire after 2023's Wimbledon tournament, aged just 27 due to a chronic back injury. The Estonian revealed recently that she has been struggling with lumbar disc degeneration. This agonizing health problem can cause pain and numbness in the lower back. Anett Kontaveit will retire after Wimbledon 2023 as a result of this painful chronic back injury, which is difficult to manage and which hampers her ability to compete at the sport's highest levels. She is unable to continue training and competing consistently at tennis's apex, and has therefore called time prematurely on her career after July's grass court Grand Slam at the All England Club. Greetings, friends, and welcome back to another scintillating episode of Forehand Frenzy, in which we dive deeply into the world of tennis and bring you all the latest tips, tricks, stories, rivalries, advice, motivation, inside scoops, and so much more. Today we will be talking about the beloved Anett Kontaveit and her story that continues to develop and capture hearts with each passing year, but which has taken an unexpected turn just recently. Stay tuned to the end of the video to find out all about her early life, her love of tennis, how she began her career, all of her achievements, and more. But before we get into the video, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on bell notifications to be notified whenever we post new videos. So, let's get started. So what happened? Well, in an emotional statement on Instagram, Kontaveit told her 172,000 followers, "Hi friends, today I am announcing that I am ending my career as a competitive athlete. After several doctor's visits and consultations with my medical team, I have been advised that I have lumbar disc degeneration in my back. This does not allow for full-scale training or continued competition. Therefore, it is impossible to continue at the top level in such a highly competitive field. Tennis has given and taught me a lot, and I am very grateful for that. It has been important for me to bring the Estonian flag to the tennis courts, and to be able to play in front of my supporters and fans all over the world. I am ready for new challenges after my last effort as a professional tennis player, to enjoy the game and compete as hard as I can at Wimbledon. Thank you everyone for your continuous support. X. Kontaveit, born in Tallinn on Christmas Eve 1995, has won 6 singles titles, and she reached a career-high number 2 in the singles rankings in June 2022. She is a player well known for her great talent, tenacity, and unwavering work ethic. Through her outstanding performances on the court, she has captured the attention of tennis lovers everywhere. Standing out from her competitors ever since she was a child, her technique, strokes, and play provided obvious early signs that she would make it big one day. Born on the 24th of December 1995 in the capital of Estonia, Tallinn, Anett Kontaveit was raised in a household that had a strong passion for sports, and she was first exposed to tennis at an early age. Her parents supported her love of the game and recognized her physical abilities. Anett spent many hours honing her tennis talents, which revealed quickly how dedicated and committed she was to the sport. With the help of her family, she started participating in regional competitions and rapidly became well known for her outstanding on-court prowess. Anett's character was forged throughout these formative years within the fiery crucible of Eastern Europe's tennis scene. Her experiences instilled within her the virtues of grit, tenacity, and sportsmanship that would enable her to surmount the difficulties and obstacles that would present themselves during her professional career. Currently, she resides in Viimsi within her native country. According to her profile on the official WTA website, she stands generally tall at 5'9" and is thought to weigh around 65 kilograms or 10 stone 4 pounds. Her father, Anett Kontaveit, was a port worker in Estonia's capital city of Tallinn. Her love for tennis comes from her mother, Ulla Kontaveit, a tennis coach. She introduced her daughter to tennis at the young age of 6 and coached her with unrelenting passion and determination until she was 11. "We're both very stubborn, very strong individuals," Kontaveit said of her mother in an interview back in May 2019. "I was very active as a kid, and she's the reason I got started, for sure." With her passion for the sport, Anett won her very first title at just 9 years old. Some young children can't even tie their laces at that age. She was coached by many talented individuals throughout her life who helped her to become the star she is today. First was her mother. Separately, she was coached by a renowned British tennis player in the 1980s, Nigel Sears, who had coached Daniela Hantuchova and Ana Ivanovic before Anett, and is himself the father of Andy Murray's wife Kim Sears. She also works with Torben Beltz, who himself had coached the amazing Angelique Kerber, assisting her journey to the WTA World #1 spot and supporting her on her path to clinching 3 Grand Slam titles. Before that, Dmitry Tursunov, who used to be an ATP professional, coached her, with the two of them calling it quits at the end of the 2022 Roland Garros Championships. Looking at the sporting pedigrees of all these talented coaches, it is no surprise to see Anett play at a very high level in just about every competition she enters. She started her career and made her professional debut at just 15 years of age in 2011. The Estonian Tennis Association recognized her talent and promise, which led to her selection to compete for Estonia in a Fed Cup match against Spain. The Billie Jean King Cup, formerly known as the Fed Cup, is an international team event for women's tennis. Anett competed against Carla Suarez Navarro, who was rated 66th at the time, and Maria Jose Martinez Sanchez, who was ranked 28th. Both players were seasoned Spanish competitors. For a young player making her professional debut, these were tough foes. Anett battled valiantly and showed her promise, but she was unable to prevail over her more skilled and experienced opponents. Despite the defeats, this event was a significant stepping stone in her progression toward becoming a more rounded, complete, and highly ranked professional player. She was able to evaluate her performance in comparison to players of better rankings, experience the competitive nature of international tennis, and pinpoint her game's weak points that would help her in developing herself into a more forceful and composed competitor. Just 6 years later, in the Rico Open in 2017, Anett played in her maiden WTA singles final. Anett reached the finals of the competition, which was held in Hertogenbosch, Netherlands, and marked a key turning point in her career. A strong Frenchwoman known for her explosive style, Kristina Mladenovic, squared up against Kontaveit in the championship match. With both players competing for the title, the match was set to showcase a high caliber of tennis excellence. The championship match was hotly contested, with tight rallies and skillful shot deployment from both players. Despite her best efforts, Kontaveit was unable to win the championship. Mladenovic took the crown instead. Despite being dissatisfied with the result, Anett considered making it to the final to be a major accomplishment. Her capacity to compete at the highest level and for titles on the WTA Tour was evident clearly now, and she was by every measure a force to be reckoned with on the court. In 2017 again at the Miami Open, Kontaveit made history by reaching the quarterfinals. She beat prominent competitors including Venus Williams and Garbine Muguruza before losing to Caroline Wozniacki. Another hard loss, but one that only solidified her tenacity and resolve to continue striving. Little did she know she would be very soon making history. She played many matches after this going forward. Anett got to the Kremlin Cup semifinals in Moscow in 2018, but Daria Kasatkina beat her. Kontaveit made it again to the Miami Open quarterfinals, but lost to Bianca Andreescu this time in the year 2019. Anett competed at the Italian Open in Rome in the same year and advanced to the quarterfinals before falling to Karolina Pliskova. Petra Kvitova won over Kontaveit in the semifinals of the Brisbane International after Kontaveit had a solid start to the year in 2020. In the same year, Anett's greatest performance in a Grand Slam competition up to that moment was a quarterfinal appearance at the US Open. In a gripping 3-set encounter, she was defeated by Victoria Azarenka. At this point, Anett's victory was long due, with the cup being snatched from her at the tips of her fingers. In 2021, Anett Kontaveit's fantastic season-ending form held up in the Transylvania Open final, where she eased past home favorite and top seed Simona Halep in straight sets. The victory landed her the 8th and final spot at the Akron WTA Finals. Anett Kontaveit won a tough match, earning a well-deserved victory and winning her first WTA singles championship. The victory represented a crucial moment in her career, since it demonstrated her capacity to compete at the top level and prevail against challenging top-flight opposition. For Anett, winning her maiden WTA title was a turning point, which paved the way for many triumphs to come. She was able to pursue, visualize, and grasp future successes on the professional circuit, armed with the knowledge that she could manage the pressure of a final and emerge victorious. This match proved to be a stepping stone for her career later on. 2021 was her most stellar year. She won in Cleveland, Ostrava, Moscow, and Cluj-Napoca. She got to the third round of the Australian Open and French Open before she lost in the very first round at Wimbledon. She also reached the quarterfinals of the Miami Open and the second round in Madrid, as well as reaching the Eastbourne International, where she sadly suffered a loss to Jelena Ostapenko. Then, another main point in her career, Kontaveit won the second WTA title of her career in Cleveland in 2021. She beat Romania's Irina Camelia Begu in straight sets in the final of the match, and soon after, the third title of her career came in the 2021 Ostrava Open, where she beat Greece's Maria Sakkari in the final in straight sets as well. She kept winning and winning. Kontaveit was dominant at the end of 2021 in particular. Between August and October of that year, she won a whopping 26 out of 28 matches, including 10 in a row, which encompassed 2 back-to-back titles in Moscow and Cluj-Napoca. Entering that summer's hardcourt season, Kontaveit had gone 1-6 in WTA singles finals, with her lone title having come in Hertogenbosch back in 2017. But the Estonian at last returned to the winner's circle in Cleveland the week before the US Open, and that triumph kick-started her commanding stretch. Kontaveit followed up with titles in Ostrava and Moscow. Her 6 finals during 2021 was tied for the most on tour with world number 1 Ashley Barty, so there was no denying her imperious form, which was the envy of all the other women in the WTA top 10 at that time. Later on, by defeating Maria Sakkari in St. Petersburg in February 2022, she earned her 6th career victory at that tournament and extended her indoor winning run to 20 games, the longest by any woman since Justine Henin in 2010. Kontaveit has demonstrated her dexterity and skill with fearless aplomb time and time again, showcasing her natural aptitude and love for the game. Even though her time competing as a top tennis professional is drawing to a close due to medical reasons, it is expected that tennis will always be integral to Anett's life in some way, whether as a coach, a pundit, an enthusiast, or an advisor. We wish her nothing but the best in her future endeavors and send our warmest hopes and prayers to Anett and her team as she continues to address her physical health and its management and recovery in the most professional way possible. It must be particularly heartbreaking to suffer a painful injury, but even more so if your hopes and dreams are tied to a profession that you can only excel in when injury-free. And while Anett has already achieved an awful lot in the sport, more than many achieve from years of working in many other types of career, the frustration she must feel is difficult for mere mortals such as ourselves to comprehend. What do you think about Anett Kontaveit's back problems? Do you have any thoughts on her retirement, on her coaching team, on her life after tennis? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's content, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and here is another video for you to enjoy while you're here. That'll be all for today, everyone.